So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Morning Coffee. My name is Joe Osamendi, and you are?
I am Valerie Zaslow, and it's nice to have you all with us this morning.
Valerie, welcome back.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you for a while. Valerie and I know each other. We have been on RVN with our own shows here.
Right.
And now you're joining me on Morning Coffee, and it's so good to see you.
And it's so good to see you. And, unfortunately, it's been, such a tough time for everyone, and I had elderly people in my family, so I was trying to take the right precautions and try and not, get out as much and social distance. And so, I missed everybody.
Well, that makes me feel good. I thought maybe you were just avoiding me.
I would never do that.
Well, now I feel better, Valerie. Thank you. That's really good. So it's so good to see you. And what's so interesting about that is this year has just been such an upheaval in everybody's life. I mean, I would never have expected anything like this. Would you have?
Absolutely not. It's been really traumatic for a lot of people, and myself included, as an event planner. And it's just like you wake up one morning, and the entire career that you've established over the course of your life is just dropped out from under you.
Right.
And so I, like many others, have a small business, and I think everybody who is operating a small business right now is really struggling, and unfortunately, we're losing a lot of businesses, a lot of restaurants. I mean, it's really tough times.
You said something very important. Like, you're an event planner.
Right.
So, some people have been able to adapt easier than others because they've been able to do things with Zoom and that kind of thing. But your business really isn't conducive to that, is it?
Well, there's a lot of events. Everything that's happening now is happening, digitally or
right.
online or through Zoom or so it's a matter of really being able to pivot your business and do it differently, bringing it to people, through whatever medium you can. But if you're planning something like a wedding
right.
or a confirmation or a bar mitzvah, that's not as easy to do. Granted, I've unfortunately been to numerous funerals, and everybody was watching those streaming. But, in general, these are private affairs,
right, exactly.
And that people aren't, they want to share them with their friends and family, but it's just not as easy. And it's unfortunate. People have had to cancel their events. They have had to postpone them until I don't know when. And I have colleagues in the industry who are booking into 2022.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you talk about weddings, is a good example. Because, obviously June and July and even September and October are really big wedding months. So how are they, what did you see as a trend? Are people just taking and putting them off altogether, or are they just saying, well, we're going to wait and see? What do you see?
I think people are trying to be cautious now, and maybe in the beginning, everybody wasn't so sure, but now that the death toll has risen so dramatically, I think a lot of people have stayed home, tried to abide by the CDC regulations, and especially, over the holidays. Even now, Thanksgiving, I can't even remember a time that there wasn't a Thanksgiving Day parade.
Right, sure.
But, I think everybody was happy to at least watch it over, in their living room on the television. But I think most people are still missing just the regular social climate of their day-to-day lives. Just interacting with people and being able to stop in for a cup of coffee or go out for lunch during business hours, that kind of thing. I think it takes an emotional and mental toll on a lot of people.
And we talked a little bit yesterday about even your son's in high school, correct?
Yes, he's a senior.
How did he cope with this?
I think it's been really dramatic change for a lot of the kids and it's hard for the teachers. It's difficult to, one, make sure that people are going to be there. Two, make sure that they're tuned in and paying attention, that they have 100% attention focused on the class and what the people are saying, because anything can happen in your household, the dog running in and barking, or, you know, a sibling coming in and wanting to be with you. And you immediately are distracted. So unless you lock yourself into a room and, you know, you're like glued to your computer, it's hard. To stay focused, and it's hard to attend. And I can say from my personal experience, I mean, my son lays in bed and watches his class as much as I've encouraged him to, you know, get up, sit down in a chair. But he's like, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm participating. And well, I mean, he's a senior, he just got into college, so I guess he's taking it a little less to stride. But for the younger kids and for the parents of younger children, it's extremely difficult. They don't have the attention span.
Right.
So, you know, it's very, very challenging for these parents to make sure that they are in the classroom and paying attention. They're not getting the same one-on-one or, you know, personal interaction.
Right.
So, you know, I think this is going to have some long-term setbacks in terms of how these kids are feeling emotionally, mentally, physically. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of counseling that's being offered, and it's just tough. I mean, everyone, not just kids, but everyone's used to having a nice social environment.
Right.
I mean, seniors are missing their prom, their senior trip, and, you know, and all those other special and fun things that you do, and if you're in a play or if you're doing something in school that you're proud of and you want to present, if you're in the band, or, you know, I mean, none of those things, and especially sports, I mean, none of those things are happening.
No.
So that normal camaraderie that everybody usually has is absent, and it's trying.
Right, you know, and so because we are, you know, as human beings, we're social animals anyhow.
Right.
And yeah, and you know, it's so different. I think the biggest emotional toll on everybody has been social distancing, so to speak, and not being in React and stuff like that. That's going to take a long time to heal, I think.
I think it's going to be a long time. I mean, and I was saying to you just the other day, I think it's, you know, whoever thought that, you know, everybody would be wearing a mask, and everybody, you know, I mean, the only thing we ever correlated wearing a mask with was Halloween. And, you know, and now I find myself like, oh, I like your mask. You know? And I never thought that's like so ridiculous, and I think that I was going to compliment somebody like on their mask, and I even, you know, find myself shopping for something that matches my outfit, and I'm just like, oh my, it's amazing how, you know, it's just become a part of your everyday life out of, you know, no choice, of just to be safe. And so I do think that it'll be, these guidelines will be still in place for a while. I mean, they might be lightening up, but every time we approach a holiday, everybody has the general, you know, the feelings, the inclination of wanting to be together with their friends and family. So, you know, I mean, I feel like that those times, it gets, the numbers go up again. You know, so it's really, yeah, it is going to be trying for all of us.
Well, now, do you have several masks yourself, or just one? And do you color coordinate your mask? You know,
I have, I'd say, maybe 5 or 6.
Really? Okay.
Well, you know, you have to wash them, and you know.
You haven't got disposable ones. You have cloth ones, then, right?
I have cloth ones. So I also have a few disposable ones. But you know, I mean, based on just being able to just switch it up, you know, and not the same old, just like your clothes. You know,
True.
it's like a new fashion accessory. Not that it really is, but it is. And there's lots of designers in Philadelphia who have stepped up to the plate and custom manufactured masks. And you know, I mean, I think everywhere you go now, in every store, you see them.
Right, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, exactly
right. Everywhere. So, you know, I mean, I just find, I mean, I've gone, up to colleges to visit, and in the school stores, there's masks. And of course, they're all customized to the university. But I think that even just in regular businesses, I mean, it's now a new form of branding. Even.
Right.
I mean, people have their company logo on their mask.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just another thing that's unique.
Yeah, my favorite mask, I have a Duncan mask.
Do you?
Yes, it's sitting right there. Duncan
That's
mask.
great. That's great. I didn't know Duncan made masks, but I'm not surprised.
Well, they do. I have my Duncan mask all the time. So and people kid me about it. They say, that's a neat mask.
That's nice. My son works for Wawa.
Oh, he does? Okay.
And so, they have the bird, the Wawa bird. And so, he has the Wawa masks, and they sell them in Wawa. So, I guess you can certainly make a statement, right, about who you support or where you shop or what your interests are behind the mask that you wear.
Yeah, well, that's true. I always thought that, but, have you noticed that when somebody looks different when they have a mask on and when the mask goes off?
Yes. Yeah, sometimes, I don't even recognize the person. I mean, you're not just used to looking at somebody's eyes.
Right.
And,
You're right.
seeing them. I mean, even though you know who they are, until they take off their mask, it's like, there you are. I feel like, in Peter Pan, I don't know if you ever saw that, but when, his mask, it was really, he saw his face, it was like, oh, there you are, Peter. I always feel like, that's the same kind of emotion.
Well, what's so funny is the guests that I've had on my shows here, because I do shows here, obviously, and it's so much when they come in with a mask, how much different they look when they have to take the mask off for the first time. Because I have this preconception of we'll be talking about the pre-game show or something like that. We'll be kind of chatting and getting to know one another, and all of a sudden we have a mask on, and they come in, and I'm trying to envision what they look like. Before, we're sitting there in the foyer. Then when they take their mask off, somebody's like, "Wow!" Or it's just a real amazing thing.
It's an interesting time. I mean, look, it's a face covering. So who would have thought that you're walking around with a face covering and covering up half of your face, and it's your expression. I think it's very interesting. You don't even know if somebody's smiling or what their reaction. You just maybe you try and assume that by the way that their eyes look, and so it makes it a little more difficult to communicate. And it's difficult to even function and to exercise or just to be wearing it all day long if you're working and wearing it all day long. It's difficult, but yeah, you do see that you look so nice now that you've taken it off. Absolutely.
Well, that's true. So but we're going to get through this like everything else. That's life goes on and what have you. And 2021, I think, is going to be a very good year for people because they're going to be going into a transition point. I don't say we're going to be normal again. I say it'll be the new normal. Some things will stay, but some things will go.
That's the thing. I think so many people are happy to say goodbye to 2020 and move forward in business, in their personal life, and a lot of people had losses this year. So I think a lot of people, you have to kind of be able to just feel, that there's something bright ahead of you. Have a feeling of optimism, something positive. I mean, changing presidency. There's, a lot of changes. We have the vaccine.
Sure, there's nothing that's going to happen,
Right. I mean, we're, I think, 22 days away or something like that until Biden takes office.
Right.
And so it's going to be a lot of changes in this country, not just and we'll have more companies now, Johnson & Johnson, coming out with the virus and hopefully with the vaccine, and hopefully it'll be more widespread.
Well, they're doing the right way, taking care of medical people first, first responders, older people with problems, that would be affected more by the virus. But we're going to get through that. And every time I think about that, I always think of Annie singing "Tomorrow, Tomorrow." That song, never had significance until this year.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think in terms of the rollout, I mean, it's tough. I think, they had planned by now to have 20 million people vaccinated, and they have maybe 2 million.
Right.
So there have been some struggles and some difficulties in how this is, coming out and getting people getting it.
Right.
But hopefully it'll be just like getting the flu shot.
Yes, it will be.
You'll just go in and you'll get your shot for the virus, and that's it, into your doctor's office or into your local pharmacy. I think right now, the pharmacy is going to be the place where most people are going to go in order to get their shot once the vaccines are fully distributed.
Yeah, the CVS will be continuous vaccine service, right?
That's good.
There you go.
That's good. Didn't think of that, but absolutely.
There you go. I'm always delving into different things, right? And one of the things that I've been doing on this show is that everybody knows the holidays like 4th of July and it's Independence Day. Thanksgiving just happened, Christmas just happened. But do you know that every day of the year is a holiday of some sort?
I did not know that. I know that there's lots of different celebrations marking like national days and things like that, but I didn't know that every single day was a holiday of some sort. So do tell.
Yes, on Morning Coffee, I always make it a point that people can find some other holidays.
Today?
What is today?
What is today? What is our holiday that we're celebrating today? I'm so glad that we're celebrating something.
There you go.
We need to keep the celebrations going.
I'm glad. And had you been on Morning Coffee with me last week, it would have been it was National Brownie Day, and I would have brought you a brownie.
Wow, I'm sorry I missed that.
And you missed National Cupcake Day too, just for
National Cupcake Day.
So you just happened to pick the wrong day. That's all.
Let me know when it's National Candy Day, or actually I'll probably know since I have a candy store and I do that.
Okay, yeah.
I'll bring you some candy.
Well, thank you.
All
Actually,
right.
it was National Chocolate Day yesterday.
Chocolate
You
Day.
missed one. You like chocolate?
Not particularly.
No.
I'm
What's
not
your sweet
a big
tooth like?
chocolate eater. I'm more of a cake person. I mean, there's a difference, between the cake people and the pie people. But I'm more of a carrot cake kind of
Carrot cake's
person.
good. Good carrot cake, good. Really.
Yeah. At least a little bit healthy.
I'm a chocoholic. I got to admit
You
that.
are?
Yes, I like chocolate.
this real cocoa chocolate, you
Yes,
like
I
that?
like dark chocolate. I like dark
80% chocolate.
Yeah, dark chocolate. And it's
Dark
good for you,
chocolate.
too.
Yes, it is.
Wine
Very
and
good for you.
Red wine and chocolate are just really good for you, in moderation.
Okay, so now we know what your indulgence is
Some of them.
when you're home quarantining, a little bit of wine and a little bit of chocolate.
There you go.
And why not?
Breakfast of champions.
That's for sure.
So
anyway, what is today?
Today's National Pepper Pot Day.
National Pepper Pot Day.
Do you know what a pepper pot is?
I'm not really.
I'm not familiar with that
And,
myself. Maybe we'll get some have a graphic of one coming up there. But it's National Pepper Pot Day, which I don't know how to celebrate that yet, but we'll figure it out before the end of the day.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes, and it's also one of my favorite days. This day is a still need to do day. All right, things you still need to do day.
Oh, right.
Now, Valerie, are there things that you still need to do today?
There's always things that I need to do. I'm one of those types of people that my mind is constantly going, and I have a list that's like a mile long of things that I need to do. And it's funny because before we had cell phones and everybody was I used to have like physically written lists that I
there's a
used to
pepper
write.
pot right there. See, evidently it's a stew type of thing.
Oh, look at that. Perfect. I wouldn't have, it looks almost like a regular pot.
Yes, and that, actually, I believe that's kind of beef and,
what's in it?
vegetables and stuff. Beef
Right, the
and vegetables.
contents,
Yes.
right.
Probably a stew type of thing.
I'm not really a meat eater.
Okay. Well, for
Red
you,
meat.
how about chicken?
Yeah, chicken I'll do. Chicken, turkey, but not red meat. How about you?
Yeah, well, I have probably a pretty varied diet. I always have at least one fish a week. I like whole wheat pasta now. I really like pasta a lot. I'll have a meat dish.
Yeah.
But chicken and fish are basically what I eat.
Well, that's very healthy, and that's it's interesting because I think being in this environment with quarantining and being at home, I think people are eating a lot more than normally because they're out and they're busy. Even the kids, they're constantly, the refrigerator's right there.
Well, that's true. Did you put on any weight during?
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did, and so it's been difficult because the restaurants are closed and you're at home and you're
Right.
staying at home, and offices are closed and you're working from home, and then it's just so much easier to just run to the refrigerator and grab a nosh. And, and so here and there, you're picking at things, and before you know it, it creeps up on you.
Well,
So I mean, I now have to really work hard to get it off. It's about 13 pounds.
Well,
or so.
yeah.
So and I feel like it's like the the college 10. I mean, you get into this whole new phase of your life that you're not accustomed to, and it's whether it's emotional eating or whatever it is because of the circumstances. It's tough, and gyms are closed.
Yes, they are.
So where we're exercising, I mean, and now that it's cold, it's hard.
Well, it's hard. I get up in the morning at about 5:30 or so, and I walk all the time. But now it's getting colder. I don't like to walk as much.
Right.
But speaking of that, because I dabble in cooking now and then, because that's what I do. Because one of my hobbies. So I found with the pandemic and everything, it was just I experimented more with different kind of meals that I wouldn't probably have done.
Right.
Because I wanted to fill the day up too. Because some things just take a long time.
Right.
So in prep and stuff like that.
Right.
So that was that. I think.
No,
that
I'm
wasn't
sure
too bad.
there's a lot of cooking happening and a lot
yeah.
of experimenting happening, and people trying to find new and different creative ways to cook and foods to eat, and things for their children. Absolutely, but all that being said, and even though that's great, there's the expenses are more for that. Just going out, and people who have kids have lunch in school every day.
Right.
They don't have that now.
No, true.
So it's an additional meal that they have at home. So and even some places breakfast. The same thing applies.
True,
So-
true. I always every time I make a really good meal, I was thinking about what woman would like to have the meal with me.
Which woman would like to have their meal? Would any of you like to have a meal with Joe? Because I think that's kind of an interesting, offer. What woman would like to have a meal with me?
Yeah.
So anyone who does, let us know, and we'll be sure that we get Joe make something extra special for you.
Well, that's true because I'm single, live by myself, and the fact is that when I was dating people. I'd always say,
dating. We can't even
Well,
get
that's another
into
thing we
that.
could talk
Dating
about,
is
too, but-
crazy, right?
But I'd say, look, I like to cook. Oh, it's so neat, because I cook. I said, what do you like to eat? And if somebody told me what they'd like to eat, I said, I'll make you a special meal. What do you really like? I'd pick out something that would be really you probably couldn't get in a restaurant, based on what people would like, whether it was like pork, chicken, vegetables, just about anything.
Right.
And so it was nice coming over to my house, and they'd have the place setting set and nice wine.
Right. Well, it's always like that when you're entertaining or having company, and
Yeah.
you want to make sure that your meal is inclusive.
Absolutely.
So that everybody can partake in
Absolutely.
the festivities, right?
Absolutely
So
so.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a big cook myself, but I make great reservations.
Oh, yeah.
But that is really difficult right now. I
That's
mean,
true.
that's a skill that I've had to tone down a little bit. I mean, now it's more. I think these companies like DoorDash and
Right.
Caviar and Uber Foods. I mean, they've been raking it in. Just
Oh,
so
sure.
many people that I don't want to cook tonight.
No, right, exactly.
And then are ordering,
Mm-hmm.
and even now that the restaurants are closed in Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
Right,
and,
unfortunately.
I mean, the takeout. I mean, I have been to restaurants and I've been standing in line waiting for my takeout because they're so busy.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Some of them. I mean, but and everybody misses again just having like I want to have Indian tonight, or I want to have Thai, or something
Right.
that is a little out of the norm for what you would normally be eating at home.
Right. So, we're going to take a break
Yeah.
right now and pay a couple bills, but don't go anywhere because we're going to come right back with morning coffee. And in the second half, we're going to have a special guest. Stick around.
Stay tuned.
Boardwalks built for fun, legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hip hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hip hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches, solid rock, and everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
This plus this equals this plus this and this. Don't drink and drive.
Listen, what will make your event simply beautiful? Is it your attire, your decorations, your entertainment? Well, join me, Alicia Simone, as I chat with some amazing vendors and clientele who will share their stories and images and their experiences. Right here on RVN TV, Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. and Wednesday at 4 p.m. It will be simply beautiful. See you then.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Morning Coffee. I'm your host, Joe Osamendi, with my co-host, Valerie.
Valerie, right?
Right, Valerie.
Nice
And
to be back.
And we have a special guest here, Brian Brown. Brian is a digital marketing consultant for Reach Local, correct?
Correct.
Good. Welcome to Morning Coffee, Brian.
Thank you.
Welcome. Nice to have you here.
So tell us a little bit about Reach Local and what your business is all about.
Let's see. As far as Reach Local itself, it's a digital marketing company, and I've been with the company almost 14 years now, coming up in February. I think one thing that's kind of sets me apart is I am Google certified, I'm Bing certified, I have a ton of experience.
Okay.
I just had an electrician client of mine over recently, and I thought it was pretty impressive that he said that he really thanked me for helping him. He said, it's really hard to find someone that cares and somebody that really is interested in helping. And I think that is kind of what sets me apart from most people. Most people want to go in there, sell you something, and they move on. And I'm here to help the guy regularly. He comes over to my house even.
Wow.
And we meet on the back porch. I have a screened-in back porch, so we'll sit out there, and it works out pretty well.
So let's talk about how you help people and what exactly it is that you do. Actually, I was on your website, and you have a lot of really great testimonials, people that
Thank
are
you.
thrilled with the recognition that their companies have been able to establish through your help with digital marketing, online marketing. So kind of break it down for us a little bit in terms of how the services.
Usually when I meet with a client, I want to look at their website first, because what we're going to do is drive business to that website.
Right.
So that's really the most important thing, because I need their website to create results. So I'm going to drive interested people there. So if they don't have a good website, we're going to have a problem right from the start. So let's go through some fundamentals, make sure it's built properly so it's going to convert well to a lead. So I'll examine that and check out some of their competitors in the area, what they're doing, and do kind of like competitor analysis. We actually have a grader tool that will run through and actually give them a full report on how their website's built and how it's set up properly.
Okay.
So once I get that going, we kind of look at seeing what other people are doing in the industries and kind of lay out a plan for them. And is somebody interested in doing branding? Are they trying to drive leads? I mean, what really do they want?
Yeah, you know, I think that, I mean, even as a small business owner, it's hard to drive leads.
Yes.
It's hard to engage people to, you know, you start a business and you're excited and you have a great idea, but then what? You know, how do you get the word out there? And of course, Google, I mean, more people searching for things or searching through Google than when they're just even shopping. I mean, so many people now are shopping online and looking online for products and services. But I guess, you know, a lot of people just don't know how do they get their company name to rank, to show up when, you know, people are searching for the services that they're offering.
Correct.
And it's hard.
It's so fragmented now. It used to be, you know, back in the day, you put an ad in the yellow page. and
Exactly.
People just funneled in. Well, there's Facebook, there's Google,
Right, there's so
Yelp's
much
calling you,
social
all the other
media.
people saying, hey, run your ads here, and it's so spread out all over the place. Like, where's the best place to be?
Yeah.
So that's why the competitor analysis comes in play. So you can see, like, okay, what are people doing? And luckily, we have about 20,000 clients worldwide that are running with us. So we can actually go and see what they're doing and what's working for them in order to make up a good game plan for your client.
Now, I have a question for you. You know, with all the different digital services now available, you know, you have everything, a web of everything. It's all changed now. But your business really hasn't really been affected that much because you can still work from home remotely, like, right?
You know, I always went out to the client and met with the client.
Right,
And now I have to do a Zoom call or we use Teams quite often, Microsoft Teams. And so many times I want to show them a file and the share button won't work right. And I see it here and I'm
it's
clicking on it.
frustrating.
Right.
And so I find that very frustrating because it's like it throws off your rhythm and you want to show them this important document and it won't work. So,
Right.
it's been tough transition, I
Okay.
got to tell you. But you know, we're moving along. I mean, sales are very, very strong.
Good.
I mean, at the highest levels in some cases.
So take me through through an engagement with your company. Let's say I call you up and how do we start it out? How do we start our relationship?
Basically, I just need your website for starters, what you're trying to accomplish, and you know, ask you any other feedback you can give me. I mean, there's tons of questions. I can go on and on. I don't want to bore you with all of it.
No, really, we're interested.
And try to get as much information as I can. And then, like I said, basically, I'm going to go put this competitor analysis together. Give me a couple of your competitors in the area, and we're going to actually draw up a whole report here for you on what's going on, so you can clearly see, you know, what you need to do and what everybody else is doing out there to get some type of idea. One of the benefits that we have with our services is that when people are calling or filling out forms, we have a platform that you can actually hear each call, see each form, so you know it's working. It's actually broken out by organic traffic, which is where you're found free on Google.
Right.
And then it's broken out by social media, people that go direct to your site and stuff. So you can see which section of your marketing is actually performing.
I think that, I mean, most people are looking for the best way, like we talked about, to outreach, to get engagement. So, you know, whether it's a Google ad or even, you know, Instagram selling or Pinterest. I mean, once you do that initial evaluation, you make a recommendation to which platform is best for each client.
Correct. There actually could be several different areas, but still number one, I mean, Google is like one of the strongest ones still today. Now they came out with these LSA ads. I don't know if you heard of them, local service ads. It used to be you would buy an ad on Google and you show up there at the top.
Right.
Now they have new ones that show up above those, and they're called local service ads. So a lot of your service industry, your electricians, plumbers, and stuff,
Right.
their ads show up there. And they actually, at first, it was set up so it was a model where you pay per a certain amount of dollars per lead. Now they're trying to set it up in a bidding process again, or based on how much of a budget you have. So now it's starting to get way more competitive, even up there. So Google stock is going up and up. It's just another stream of revenue for them.
Yeah, exactly.
But, there's so many places that you can, and it depends on the company. So I can't say one area serves all. So it really just depends on that business, what they're trying to accomplish in order to recommend what platform that you should be marketing on.
You've been doing this for a while now, so what changes have you seen in your marketing experience that have been different?
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, with Google, and one of the reasons why I got into this and why I love it is that it's ever changing. There's always new stuff coming out, new products, new services, new way to reach people. So it's constantly the ever changing amount of products and ways to reach those people. It's just so changing, and I find it exciting. I mean, all the stuff coming at me and learning new things every day, it never gets boring. Let's just say that.
Right. And a large percentage of people actually start looking for products online, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. I think that, and even especially now, with more people being at home and working from home, I think everybody is really looking online, shopping online, right? I think that, e-commerce is booming.
Sure is. Yep. We have actually add-on a service you can add on to a website just so you can sell e-commerce products. We also have e-commerce websites, and you can do local shopping ads. I mean, it's on and on and on. And another thing that people have been doing, actually putting their inventory on Facebook. I mean, a lot of people didn't realize you could even do that, but you can actually, if you're set up to do e-commerce, you can load all your inventory right on there as well.
I think it's hard for people to know and understand how to manage. If you have your website, a lot of things, okay, I have my website, I'm going to drive traffic to that. But actually, it has to be compounded. You actually have to have your Facebook site, you have to be posting on Instagram. I mean, you need to keep up with all of the social media to keep yourself relevant.
I have a website myself, and it's difficult for me just to try to keep up with that every day. There's a posting to LinkedIn, to Twitter, to Facebook, and your Google business listing. You want to post there, and you want to make sure you're putting blogs out regularly so your site indexes in more places. And so it's a lot of work.
Right. If you're, a small business and you're not in a position to hire somebody to do that kind of thing, or somebody who has the expertise, then yes, it's definitely a lot of work.
A lot of people like the fact that I'll show them, I'll give them a ton of information, all right? And it's up to you if you want to use any of that stuff. I'll say, hey, this is the best way to do it and why. And I'll even show you many, many free ways that you can even do it. Look, here, you can do this yourself.
Right.
But, if it's too much for you, we have products or services where we can help you.
What are business? Oh, so go ahead.
Oh, thank you. So, and you're helping people to scale their businesses. So once you get everybody up and going, then what happens? You help them to scale them to grow more, or you get some feedback in terms of what's happening. And
as we see it coming in, a lot of our platform, we run the products on a software that actually optimizes. That's a big term that they use a lot in digital marketing, but what we do is try to optimize their leads. So we'll find out, like, for example, with Google AdWords, we'll find out which words are actually making their phone ring or making a form, and we'll optimize based on that so they get more and more business. So over time, we're constantly working to improve the campaign, make it run better, making more leads. They always want to see it growing and getting better. So there's always work to do day in and day out. Even after they get up and running and things are the client's happy, they still want to keep taking it to the next level. So we can also recommend other products and other services so they can do that. But in most cases, most of my clients are basically want to grow what they have currently,
Right.
and whoever wants to spend more money. So they want to see what they have grow. But many clients do take some of my suggestions on other ways they can take advantage, such as like Google lead ads, Google website clicks, Google remarketing. There's all different types of ways that you can reach out to people.
We have to take a break right now, pay a couple bills, but we'll be right back with Brian Brown. Please don't go anywhere. Well.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hippity hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey. Plan your New Jersey trip at visitnj.org. Waves of fun. Nights of excitement. And a trail of memories. Now that's New Jersey.
Well, welcome back again to Morning Coffee. I'm Joe Osmendi, Valerie Zaslow, and Brian Brown. Brian, welcome again to Morning Coffee. And you know what? One of the things I'd like to ask you is, with times changing and everything and different things, what challenge do a lot of the businesses tell you they have?
Well, just like I said, electrician just recently said, finding somebody they can depend on, rely on, that's any good. They said so many people. They said you meet with them. They said, "Oh, this will hook you up and take care of you," and then you don't get any results.
Right.
So finding somebody that actually cares and wants to do it properly and knows what they're talking about.
So once you find somebody like your company, I think other than just putting your website out there, what else can you do? I mean, today, I think everybody's saying video. You need to be present. You need to be, even just talking yourself and explaining a little bit about you and your business and putting it out there, or engage people through a video. Is that something that you recommend? What other types of products can you use to complement your website?
It depends on the business, but in most cases, video is very, very good. If you have the time to do it and to put it out, but you don't want to just make a video with your phone. It really has to be kind of professionally done. So it takes a lot of work to do these, videos and make them done properly. So I would always recommend video, but it's a lot of work to try to put together. I tend to push blogs. I find blogs very, very, very important. Think about this. Your website has words that it's built out of. So Google's a machine. So when it scans your site, it only indexes you for those words on your site. So let's say you need to be, there's a new up and coming feature or service or something that's coming out and that you're now offering. Well, you can build blogs and write blogs around that stuff. So now those blogs get indexed for those words. So by doing blogs on your site, you're putting new content to your site, and those blogs are now going to get indexed for more and more and more words. So you're found in more and more and more places. Then you can also work within the blogs and link them back to certain service areas within your site. And it all comes together and helps your site to rank better.
Some people have a lot of difficulty doing that. Not everybody is a good writer, or
Right.
feels like they can put out the content in the right way, you know, or even have the time. So it's challenging. So how do we, you know, get around?
If you don't have the time to do it, we have the service
There
where
you
you
go.
can write the blogs for you. So that's why I said I'd put it out there and say, hey, this is really what you want to do. There's some places you can either buy blogs, write them yourself. But you know, if you find this too challenging or something, I'll take care of it for you, and that's where I get involved.
Well, that would make sense because the image is so important for any kind of company. And I think if you have a professional person do it, it looks so much better than if you try to do it yourself and make it amateurish, or it doesn't you don't come across as what you want to be.
And there's a certain way to write it. If you're trying to write blogs to rank well, there's a certain way you want to write that and link that over to your site and so forth to make it rank well so people find it. One of the ways that people found me, quite often I wrote this blog about free internet advertising. And I put all these links in that you can go and fill out to go and get free directory listings. And so now if you search a free internet marketing, free internet advertising, like in Philadelphia, boom, there I am.
You know, for students coming out of school and stuff with marketing degrees and everything, how would you recommend they get into the digital marketing consultant field?
Wow, how would they recommend it? It's all about, I started off and started getting in, reading a lot and learning a lot and watching videos and hands-on. I actually built a couple websites and started buying services for it to figure out what worked and made it do well. And so it was a kind of a trial and error. And just learning what does well. I built a website
Get in there and get
for
your
my,
hands dirty, learn how to do it, right?
I
Get
built
a job
website
with a company and
for my
start
father-in-law
working it.
and started buying different things for a site to see what worked and what created results for him. And so it was trial and error, like you said.
So somebody who is just trying to launch a brand new business and they're not even familiar, you know, with how to put out the content or their own website, or, I mean, I know you provide that service, but, you know, there's a lot of challenges that people make, and just people looking for graphic artists and for, you know, developers. So, you know, how can you help people when they're just launching and they're restricted in terms of their budget?
Correct. Far and foremost, you definitely want to start with a good website.
Right.
So, I mean, that site, if it's built properly, it's going to index in many, many, many places on different search engines, not just Google, Yahoo, Bing, you know, I don't know. So start with a very good website. Make sure it has lots of content in it so it can index well. So start there and make sure it's set up so right when people land on it, they know what you offer. They know if you're local. There's a phone number to quickly call now or to fill out a form, so that you know, in that frame where they first see you, you get a second or two to capture their interest. That's what you want to do.
So you don't have to get bogged down in a lot. I think just simple website, right? Like a page or you know, something that leads to a contact us, our services, and I mean, some websites are very,
I would recommend probably having at least 5 pages to
just
start
to
off.
start, really.
Because having one page, it's really tough to get that thing to index on Google. I think they tell you they want to see about like 3 pages minimum. Each page you want to have about 500 words plus, preferably more than that. I mean, if you can throw 1,000 words on a page, even better. Because the more words you have, the more places you're going to be able to get indexed and found.
So do you recommend that people pay for their Google ad placement, or that they use all the keywords that you're talking about? And just, I know the longevity helps when you have your website on Google, but you know, if you're just starting, I think it's hard unless you're paying.
I agree. They say actually SEM and actually doing Google organic traffic. I don't want to get confusing with these terms here, but trying to do SEO and PPC, which is pay-per-click, Google AdWords, the two of them work hand in hand. So the more places you can show up, when somebody does a search and you're in the ads at the top, you're found in the Google My Business section, you know, where that has the listings of all the businesses, and then you're found organically, and the client says, wow, this guy's here, here, and here. I ought to give them a call. They're all over the page. So the more places you can show up, the more credibility it's going to give your company. So it depends on how much of a push you want to give out there to get started.
I know you focus on digital marketing, but are people still doing radio and television?
Yeah. Geez, I have a lot of car dealers. Yeah, of course.
sure.
You can't.
You can't see
TV.
it. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, quite a bit.
Well, Gannett is a big publishing company, correct? And they own your company, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Newspapers.
Newspapers. So how, can you go a little bit on newspaper business? Is that still very vibrant or something, or are we going more in electronics?
I personally can't speak for them because
Okay.
I'm on the digital side.
Right.
So, they hired us to handle all their digital marketing.
Cool.
So somebody from the Courier Post, if you had them in here, they could probably tell you a lot more
Okay.
than I could. So I be honest with you. I couldn't
That's
speak
quite
for
all right. One other thing you wonder, what are some of the common mistakes people make on their website that you see that have to be corrected immediately?
them. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You know what? The biggest one I think is a title tag and a meta tag description.
Okay.
And what's that? Every page, when the content's written, has a title tag and a meta tag in the background of the site, which tells Google what that page should be indexed for. So when you do a search on Google, and you know how you see the blue words at the top, and there's a little couple like sentences underneath it
Right.
for each one of the different businesses that get indexed. That's your title tag for that page and your meta tag description.
Okay.
So I see a lot of people will have the word like home and then their name or something like that. It really doesn't help them to get indexed because people aren't searching the word home,
Right.
and they don't even know the name of the company. So it's very, very difficult for them to get indexed. So I find that's a big, big problem with a lot of businesses, that they don't know enough to correct that. So when you hire a website company, they're going to show you something that looks pretty. And you're like, wow, that looks great. But most of the time, it's not built properly to get indexed on Google. Like that part wasn't thought about when they were building the website, because they want to make it look good for you so you buy it.
Right.
So I kind of look at the back end right away to make sure that it's set up properly so it'll get indexed well for Google.
Good. What distinguishes your company from other competitors?
We've been around so long. We started off as a digital company. We didn't we weren't into Yellow Pages, and then we switched over and we started doing digital marketing. We've been a digital marketing company from day one.
Okay.
So I think that gave us a big, big boost because we've been doing this for, how long has our company been around for? 18 years, 17,
Okay.
18 years, and I've been with the company almost that long. And I think that's the biggest thing, because that's all we do is digital marketing.
Well, that's important for people that want to get your services, because the fact is you're a specialist.
Correct.
And that's important. You can't really be a jack of all trades in this, because it's so important to make a good impression. You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yep.
So it's so important you hire the right person to get your message across right away.
Let me ask you,
Thank you.
I mean, one of the things that you see that's always in digital marketing or even online or anywhere are reviews. And so, do you think you would recommend that people have testimonials on their site, or, that people allow, you can't help it, there's, Google reviews about your company and what others are saying, but how do we, address that in terms of whether or not you want to put your own recommendations out there, and what happens when other people are putting reviews out there for you?
Actually, when I get a client on board, the first thing I tell them is get those Google reviews, as many as you possibly can, because the more you're going to get, it's actually going to help you to rank higher on those business listings.
Right.
And there's actually a tag, it's called a UTM string, that you can put on there and watch in your Google Analytics and see how many leads you have coming in from that thing. That is a huge lead producer, and they're free. So why not take advantage of them? So get lots and lots of reviews, as many as you can. I actually had a client, I'm going to go back probably 12 years from now. I told him, get reviews, get reviews. He called me one day and he says, you know what? I have 178 reviews now. And he goes, I have so much business, I can't handle it. I can't advertise with you anymore. He goes, sorry,
Wow.
but your recommendations did so well for me. I have so much business now that thank you very much.
Why don't you tell us about a
And
couple
I
of your
felt happy about that.
Why don't you tell us about a couple of your clients and how you've helped them get the business they needed?
Oh my God, I'm trying to think. Just an example, this electrician I
Right.
just had. He just started with me, and he started over pretty much from the ground floor. He broke off from another electrician company, and starting his business. So he's trying to get indexed on Google as fast as possible. So right away we built him a site. He had some blogs created, so we're doing that, and I'm doing some little SEO help with him on the site. and we're doing Google My Business. I have him doing the local service ad, so he's just getting up and running. But like I said, that's the guy who came over and was like, "Hey, thank you so much." He goes, "Because you can tell you really care, and you're here to help me." And I mean, I'm sending him stuff like every other day.
Right.
And here's the next step. Here's what we need to do to move forward. I have another. I have a Honda dealer.
Okay.
Geez, they've been with me probably 13 years
Wow.
now, which is very, very rare in our industry. There's so many competitors coming at them day in and day out.
Right.
To have someone be with me, I have an Acura dealer, been with me probably over 10 years. I have several other companies, tree service, I can go into, there's a plumber. They've been with me many, many years. Matter of fact, the plumber was with me and left and came back saying, we just can't find the type of service that you provide. I mean, you like hold their hand all the way
Right.
through, which they said people weren't doing that with us. They would just hire, we would hire them on. They would give us some, sell us some services, and off they went. And we were like, what? We felt like did it really help? So I guess back to the thing that I kind of got off topic there with reviews. Reviews are extremely important. You can stick them on your site under testimonial section. I don't know how many people actually go over and look at it because it's on your site. Of course, you're going to cherry pick and put your
Right.
very best ones on there. So I find it better to have them over on Google
Right.
so people can go over there. And by the way, when you get those reviews, go into your Google My Business listing and make sure you respond to every single one, because Google's looking to see if you're doing that and actually ranks your listing higher for doing it.
Brian, we're getting to the point where we're going to have to ask you to look into the camera and tell people how they can reach you. But right before that, I'd like you to show people your mask. You came in with one of the most unusual masks I've ever seen. You take a second to do that.
Yeah, there's a little button here on the side.
He has an LED mask.
It has an app here on my phone, and I can make it say whatever it does. So right now, I have it
A
scrolling across.
LED
It
mask.
says, "Ask me about Reach Local," and that's
Oh,
what
yeah, right.
scrolls across there. So,
That's terrific.
Yeah.
what the heck, if I
I
have to
almost
wear a
feel like
mask?
you're ready to go to a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, why not have something? If I have to wear a mask, why not make the most of it?
That's
So,
great. Brian, I'd like you to look right in that camera right there and
Sure.
tell people how they can reach you and who should call you.
Brian Brown, Internet Marketing Consultant here with Reach Local. Been doing this, I have over 20 years experience. I'm Google certified, Bing certified. You can reach me at brian.brown@reachlocal.com, like you're reaching for something, reachlocal.com. My phone number is 215-384-4568. Thank you.
Brian Brown, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having
Very
me.
interesting.
Really cool
Learned a
setup.
lot.
I like this.
Everybody get
local.
out there and market your businesses.
Yeah, reach local. If you really want to get an expert in digital marketing, call this guy, because Brian will make sure that you want to be where you want to be. You'll be where you want to be. Brian, thanks again.
Thanks for having me. This is
Thank
great.
you.
Our pleasure. And we'll see you next Tuesday morning. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Have a great day.